Welcome to Deer Feet. I'm Jess.
And I'm Renee.
And we're the Deerfoot sisters. This week, we're talking about online dating. Again.
We're bringing you an update or an updating on Jessica's life in the digital world.
My online dating life. So, I'm back on Tinder.
What? How is it? Is it on fire?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's some sparks.
I think it's a good time to go on Tinder. Like, you can have a nice summer romance.
Yeah.
Summer fling.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Right,
I feel like, well, I would say I started up again last summer, but then I kind of went into, like, the fall.
So you've been on Tinder for, like, a year?
No, I wasn't on Tinder last summer. I, like, was online dating, and then I went, because I had kind of taken a break, and then I went into the fall, and then I, like, took a break, and now I'm back on Tinder.
Are you on any other sites?
No.
Just Tinder?
Yeah, because I guess, like, well, Tinder is linked with your Facebook account, I think.
Weird.
And I guess, like, I don't know, you don't really delete the profile. I don't know. I deleted my other profile, so it took me a lot of work to reset them up.
Yeah. So it's mainly convenience.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's, like, linked to your Facebook. So can you, like, send people, like, you know, like, Farmville requests? You can send, like, a Tinder request through Facebook?
I don't think so. I think it's just, like, it links... Sorry, I'm moving around on the couch. I think it links to your account in a way. And then some people, it's like it has their Instagram accounts linked too. So when you click on someone, you can see their pictures. Because you also... So it's like... I think when I first created it, it went through my Tinder. Because it used to when it first came out. I mean, through my Facebook. It used to tell you if you, like, had mutual friends.
Oh, right. I think I remember that.
But I don't think... It doesn't do that anymore. But so, like... My main picture is, like, an old Facebook profile picture.
How old?
Well, it's the one where we have, like, the filter on our faces, so we look like aliens.
Okay, that's pretty old.
And then I have, like, I added other pictures.
So I'm in your main Tinder profile picture?
Yeah.
That's awkward.
I could show you my picture.
Do you think that people think I'm the person who's looking for online love?
No.
Oh, okay. Good. Because I'm not. Right now. Maybe next month.
Yeah, you're there.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. But in the background. Oh, sorry, guys. We're recording in the morning today. That's why we
Your
started
husband's
sleeping.
in it, too.
Oh, well, perfect. But that's not the
And then
main
there's this
picture.
of me, and then
What?
this picture.
Wait, that picture, you can't even see your face.
It's more of a body picture.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
You have to tap it.
Interesting. These look nice. All right, so what are any interesting goings-on on the Tinder these days?
Yeah, so one thing that's interesting is because it's linked to my Facebook, I changed my name on Facebook to Jessica Rafef. So,
Like, you know, her son's name, sort of.
Jeffy. So when I, like, restarted my Tinder account, it came up with the name Jeffica instead of Jessica. And I think probably, like, 90% of the people ask me if that's really my name.
I mean, I guess it could be a name. Like, if you had a dad named Jeff and, like, your mom, like, really wanted, or he really wanted to have someone named after him, and you had, like, 5 sisters and you were the 5th or 6th one, they would just name you Jeffica.
Yeah, it was, I mean, so then I'll say to people, like, yeah, but my friends call me Jeff.
And they're just like, okay.
And they're like, cool. And I was like, but you can call me Jeffica.
Oh, that's awkward. Yeah, so when it comes to, like, weird names on things, when I first got my iPhone, I didn't have, like, an iCloud account. So I signed up through Jess's. And she had Siri calling her Master. That was, like, the nickname she gave herself. So that when Siri would respond, she'd be like, oh, you're welcome, Master. Well, actually, her Siri's a guy. So he'd be like, you're welcome, Master.
Not English. He's an American guy.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I don't use the English version because they say words Because sometimes they say words weirdly or, like, there are differences and it confuses me because I only speak American English, so.
Wow. So anyway, so she has him call her master. So when I first signed up for my iPhone, I, like, used her Apple ID. So then it changed, like, it's weird because her name in my phone is saved as Jessica Rafis. But when she, like, texts me, it comes up as Master as her name. But when she calls me, it just says Jessica Rafis. And, like, when I go to text her, I have to type in Jessica Rafis. If I type in Master, it doesn't usually come up. But
Wait,
I never...
but in your text threads, is it Master or Jessica Rafis?
Master.
So, like, if you open up your text messages and you just... Because you probably don't really type in my name often unless you're, like, sending me a picture.
When you're... Yeah, I don't know. I have to look. But no, I'm pretty sure it says Master. Yeah, because when I get, like, a text message from you and my car reads it to me, it's like, you have a new message from Master. So then I didn't realize, like, how weird it was. Because I just was like, oh, it's just like a weird, this is the reason why, like, because I signed up through her name and that was her nickname from Siri. But then when I was like, would online date and people didn't know me, and like halfway through the date, I get a text from someone named Master, and they're like, what? And I'm like, oh, that's just my sister. And they're like, what? And I'm like, oh, it's like a convoluted story, but yeah. And I don't know how to change it. Like, I think she has to change. You have to have Siri stop calling you Master. Like,
I don't even know if it would change it, though. You'd probably have to, I'd have to do that, and then you'd have to, like, reset your phone.
Yeah, it was really weird. So, like, it's been like that probably for 10 years that you're, like, saved as Master in my phone. And yeah, I didn't quite realize how weird it was until people pointed it out to me. And I'm like, yeah, I could see how that would look really bizarre if I'm, like, halfway through a date and my sister texts me and I'm like, oh, I have to go. And they're like, whoa, was your master calling you? And I'm like, yeah. So that's kind of awkward. But you should always check out stuff like that. Like, sometimes you don't realize how weird something is because you know the background story, but then to others it obviously is really bizarre seeming. So,
or it just feels natural to you, and then other people are like, that's weird.
That's why I always tell people, like, it doesn't always matter what's happening. It matters what it looks like is happening. So, like, I work as a lifeguard, and I always tell the other lifeguards, I'm like, you have to think about the optics of the situation. Like, even if you're not guarding right now, but guess what? You look like a lifeguard because you got, like, 3 things on your body that say lifeguard. So even if you're not lifeguarding right at the second you're on break, you shouldn't be, like, out at the pool on your phone or, like, eating a sandwich or something because people think you're supposed to be working. So I'm like, and even if you're not doing anything wrong, it actually really, unfortunately, doesn't matter because perception is reality, so it's going to look like you're doing something wrong.
That's true. Like, I used to say that to the camp counselors that would work for me. Like, we had a camp and it was in a public space, so other people would walk by. Our bosses might be coming by, and, like, there were always cars kind of, like, driving through, so we wouldn't even know if, like, our boss drove by or something. And there were picnic tables, and people would be on break, but I'm like, you're still wearing staff shirts. Like, there's kids nearby. Like, it just looks like you're sitting around chatting while you're at work. So I basically was like, you guys have to go and take your breaks, like,
in the woods.
It was like
you have to go hide in the woods for your break.
It was not really the woods. It was like a picnic table that was off on the side that wasn't visible from, like, the main camp area. So I was like, or go somewhere else. But I was like, you can't just take your break, like, right by where all the kids are because it just looks like you're sitting around doing nothing.
Ignoring a bunch
or
of
like
kids.
all the garbage cans were right by, like, the road, and the kids would be, like, eating their lunch or something, and then they'd run to the garbage can, and I was like, guys, this sounds like, it just looks like the kids are running into the street, and also, like, who knows, they might not pay attention. So we started having them, like, collect the garbage all together and, like, throw it in the garbage can, because it's just, like, it looks bad if you're sitting there and your one kid's running away towards the street. And, like, they're all like, oh my gosh, so serious.
But they probably will learn eventually when they're in a situation where something looks really bad for them, and then they're like, oh.
Yeah, like, one time we were in the preschool classroom, and there's, like, a ton of windows, obviously, and across the hall was, like, a fitness center, so even, like, people working out could see into the classroom. And one of the children said to Renee, asked her if she'd ever been on this ride at Sesame Place, and said that it gave me this, and then showed Renee a cut on her finger. But the thing was, the cut was on her middle finger, so she basically was holding up her middle finger and jutting it at Renee. So it looked like a 4-year-old was, like, flipping her off. And she was, like, mad
like,
about it because she was angry that the ride gave her the cut, so she was like, this, and then jutted her middle finger right at Renee. And to anyone, it would be like, why is that kid flipping off their teacher?
Yeah. And why is the teacher not doing anything about it? It was pretty funny. That would have been pretty funny from the outside, for sure.
Speaking of optics as well, someone the other day on Tinder said that I look like, they're like, you're 31 because you look like you're in your 40s.
Which is just so weird to me because you look like you're 15.
And I know. You just saw my pictures. I don't look old in those photos.
I mean, I don't think anyone has ever told me I look... Okay, well, when I was younger, like ages 11 to 15, people always told me I looked older than I was.
Really? But
then when I was like ages 18 to now, they all think I'm younger than I am.
Yeah, like I think I was like 27 when I got carded for an R-rated movie. And the woman was just like, oh my God, seriously? When she looked at my ID. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. I got carded for like lottery tickets like 2 years ago. And I'm like,
and then that lady last year, or this year, a few months ago, at the caroling party, said that everyone under 30 looks 18 to her. And I was like, well, I'm 31. And she was like, what?
Yeah, I know. And I always say to my husband, I'm like, how old do you think I'll be before people don't think I'm 16 years old? Like, do you think I'll be like 50 and they'll still think I'm a 16-year-old girl?
Yeah.
When I was student teaching in a middle school, I got asked for a hall pass. I was like, I'm 22.
How long had you been there?
A couple weeks.
Oh, so they just haven't recognized you yet?
Yeah, but I'm like...
Because I feel like the people kind of know me.
Well, I don't know, I don't really see the guards very often. But,
we have police officers.
It was crazy. Like, I'm like... And people are always like, you're going to love that. People think you're so young. And I'm like, no, it's actually really annoying. Because sometimes when I'm like, for example, if I'm like out with Finn or something, I think people think I'm like a teen mom. Or they think I like had him when I was like 17. When I'm like, my son is like 7. And they're like, oh.
We used to walk around with our cousins and they always thought we were like teen moms.
Yeah, and they would give us like nasty looks.
Moms.
And I'm like, I'm actually just a really nice 12-year-old who babysits her cousins for free on the weekends. You jerk. Yeah, but it's awkward. It is definitely really awkward when people think you're so young. Because I'm like, it's not...
I mean, I don't mind it. I'm fine with it. I'm not like, ooh, I love feeling like having people think I'm young. I'm more like just don't care. But I think I definitely wouldn't like it if people thought I was a lot older. Well, this guy said in their 40s. I feel like he was just negging me.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm like, really? And he was like, yeah. No explanation. So I'm just like, okay. I was like, I thought if I said really, you would like tell me why you think that.
Did we talk about negging on our podcast?
I don't think so.
Do you want to familiarize them with the behavior if they've never heard of it?
So negging is just basically like, I don't really know how to describe it. It's like purposefully putting down someone in an attempt to like get them interested in you, I guess.
Yeah, it's basically just being a jerk. So then people like want to prove themselves to you or something. It's really pretty messed up. It's a really bad behavior. Don't do that.
And I think it's more than just like teasing, because like there's
it's
times
not like
where...
teasing. It's not like joking around. It's like they literally will just say a mean or hurtful thing to like intentionally hurt your self-esteem.
And to make you feel like insecure, so that you like want to like be like, no, I'm not like that, and like prove
and also
it,
so they can like prey on you basically. Yeah. So it's really not good. It reminds me of like, oh my gosh, what movie is that? My Best Friend's Girl. Did you ever see that movie with
I
Dane
saw it,
Cook?
but I don't remember it.
It's like Dane Cook and like, I want to say Kate Hudson's in it, and like Jason Biggs, but like basically he's like really good at like, well, basically like, you hire him to be like, oh, a really bad date, so that then like the girls will want to date you because they're like, oh my god, he's so terrible, I just want a nice guy. But then when he's like at a bar, he basically like talks about like negging. So he like basically talks about, he like negs this girl by like telling her she's like way too skinny. I'm like, oh, it's such an insult. Like, okay. But yeah, it's just messed up. Like, if someone does that to you, don't engage with them because they're just not a good person. Like, I have some real issues if they feel like they have to really be mean to you to try and hurt your feelings and damage your self-esteem. Anyone you date should be building up your self-esteem, not tearing it down.
Yeah, exactly.
So just,
But like I said, it's not just teasing, because obviously, like, you do this a lot. I feel like I do this a lot. I think a lot of people do this, where you meet someone and like your way of flirting is kind of like teasing them.
Right. Yeah, but I think that's different. And I think it's pretty obvious.
Like, remember with Crazy Legs? And you were like, I think it was Crazy Legs. Was it? And you were like, he was wearing like a Yankees hat, and you were like, the Yankees suck. And you're like, I'm a Mets fan. And he was like,
yeah.
I think that was Crazy Legs.
I don't remember.
Anyway, there was this guy that used to work out at the gym, and we called him Crazy Legs because
he did some crazy leg exercises.
He would like hold on to a bar that was like a railing, but basically it could be the same thing if he was like in a ballet studio.
Yeah. It was like
and then he would just swing his legs like
really
really fast
intensely.
and really high back and forth.
Yeah,
like,
it was bizarre.
Crazy Legs.
Like, what would you even need that exercise for?
I feel like he was just showing off for us.
He's like a Ken doll, like whipping his legs around like 360 degrees.
Ken dolls can't do that.
Well, on a side note, like working at a gym, you realize that people do not know how to work out, and they do very bizarre things. And like even at the swimming pool, I was thinking about this yesterday because I was lifeguarding yesterday, and I'm like watching these people swim, and half the time I'm just like, what are you doing? They do like the most bizarre motions, and I'm like, I don't. It's so bizarre. Like I don't understand. It's not really any type of stroke that I've ever seen, and it's like just really, really weird. I'm like, what is this movement? What are you trying to accomplish? I forgot to tell you something though, Jess. Yesterday this lady was like putting on her fins in the deep end, which is 7 feet, and she dropped one, and she was like, oh, I can't get it. And I was like, oh. And then she's like, oh, let me try. And she like dove down, and like she went head first. And she got like, she probably was under the water for 2 seconds and then was like, just quickly swam back to the surface. And she's like, I can't get it. It's so deep over here. It's 7 feet, our deep end. That means if you're 5 feet tall, you have to go a mere 2 feet to get to the bottom. Like, it was like the way, and I'm like, okay, I'm watching her swim across this 25-yard pool. So I know she can swim, but she can't go down 2 feet. Like, it was
how does she swim? It seems like she doesn't feel comfortable, like, not being able to breathe.
Well, she did. She was swimming freestyle. She didn't keep her head out the whole time. So then I had to get the big skimmer and do it. But I was like,
I thought you like jumped in and got it for her.
No, I was like, I'm not getting in this pool. I'm like, if she can't get it, she's just not getting it. Like, I'll jump in if someone's drowning, but I'm not about to jump into this cold pool to get a flipper that you dropped. Why are you putting them on and off in the deep end anyway if you can't swim down 7 feet?
Yeah, that's really strange.
It was
yeah, because we
bizarre.
have kids who like. We try to practice, like, diving for the rings, and we do it, like, we didn't do it right by the shallowest end. It was probably, like, the 4-foot water. But the kids could still stand there, because it was, like, the older kids.
Yeah.
And they, like, can't swim down to get it. And it's interesting.
I know, I'm like...
Because they could swim both lengths, but they, like, can't swim down. Because it is harder.
And also, like, you don't have to go head first. If you just did a feet first surface dive, it's really easy. Like, especially if you can stand, you just have to drop into the water. Yeah, it's very bizarre. But yeah, one day when we go to the pool, I'll show you how she like tried. It was like so embarrassing to watch. I was like, what? But whatever. People just in general really don't know how to swim. And then even when people tell me like, yeah, I know how to swim, and then I watch them and I'm like, you look like you're about to pass out and you've swam for 10 yards. Like, you don't know how to swim.
Well, maybe they know how to swim. They're just really out of shape.
No, because their swimming isn't like good. They don't have a good mechanism for swimming. And then watching the adult lessons. Now, I admire the people who go to adult lessons because a lot of times they've been like traumatized by water in their past. Like, most of them have had near drowning experiences, and that's like what usually scared them off from swimming. So like, I know it takes a lot of courage to go, but oh my God, they swim in such weird ways. They're like, it's because they've developed these bizarre sort of habits to move in the water, and I'm like, what? The one guy was swimming like on his front, but his legs were doing like an egg beater kick. Like, basically he was rotating from his knees around in the water, and I'm like, what is happening? Like a boat propeller sort of, but like 2 separate ones going opposite directions. And I was like, this is very bizarre. But it's interesting though. It is hard to teach adults because you have to unlearn and then relearn a lot. But you know, if you don't know how to swim, definitely try to learn and try to go sooner rather than later, because the longer you wait, the harder it's going to get. So just go try, find a nice teacher who will help you, and at least learn how to tread water and float on your back. So if you, God forbid, ever fall into a lake or whatever, you can survive until someone can come get you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right.
Anyway,
so
back to dating.
Moving on. So I have a poem to read that I found. What is this noise? Are you doing something with your body?
No, they're doing construction.
Oh, okay. I have a
My
poem.
body sounds like a hammer.
Well, on here it just sounds like a soft tapping, like a soft
like, no, they're like
it sounds
hammering
like if you
over
were
there.
touching the table or something. Okay. So basically, this was someone's Tinder profile. They wrote this poem. Okay, so swiping left is when you don't want someone, if you don't want to match with them, and then swiping right is matching with someone. I think that's pretty common knowledge. Although the other day we were at dinner and my friend, okay, this happened because I'm such a jerk and I'm very self-absorbed. We were at a restaurant and we had our whole meal and our waiter came to our table very frequently. And then I was like, I'm going to order this dessert because it was like a carrot cake, lava cake.
Ew.
And I was like, that sounds delicious.
What was it filled with? Like carrot
cream
juice?
Cheese. No, like a cream cheese, like the maple butter blondie. It was really good. Anyway, but I was like, I'm so full.
So you had that and then you had
No,
ice
I
cream?
had that like at 2 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I was like, okay, I'm going to get this, but I'm too full right now, so I'm going to take it to go. And they're like, you probably can't take it to go. And I was like, yeah, they can probably just put the parts like separate or whatever. But the like cream cheese part comes in the cake. But he was like, yeah, it's fine, like, because we have to just heat it up. I'll give you like heating up instructions. Oh, well, first the guy came over and I was like, are you our waiter? I was like, well, no, I didn't say it like that. I was just, he like was clearing our plates. And I was like, oh, wait, you're a waiter, right? Because I was like, sometimes they have, like, busboys or, like, other waiters just come and clear your plates.
Yeah, managers or something.
So he's like, yes. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I feel like I never really looked at your face. I'm like such a jerk, I know. Because he was, like, always standing super close, and I feel like I was just looking at his chest. But anyway.
What, your neck doesn't work? Like, when you order food, you just stare at people's belts. You just turn your head like, I'll have the tilapia.
A lot of times I order food looking at the menu, actually. But anyway, because I like to order exactly what it says on the menu.
I know, you're really annoying about it.
Okay, I'm
like, such a nerd.
Anyway.
Like, if it's, like, called, like, the grilled cheese, like, it'll be like, she'll be like, I'll have the classic grilled cheese with blah, blah, blah. It's like, you can just say grilled cheese. Like, they know that's the classic grilled cheese.
Anyway, so I ordered the dessert, and then my friends were like, wow, Jess, that was really, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I know I'm such a jerk. And then they were like, yeah, it's Joey. And I was like, wait, is that really his name? And they were like, yes. And I was like, oh. And then I was like on Tinder, and I'm like, wait, there's someone named Joey who's like a mile away. And then it wasn't loading, so we were trying to look at his pictures. And then my friend basically swiped on him because she didn't know how it works. Because when you want to look at someone's pictures, you have to, like, tap the screen. And you tap it, like, on the right or the left, depending on which way you want to go. But then if you swipe, it will swipe on the person.
So she swiped left?
I don't know which way she swiped, to be honest. She didn't know. But anyway, here's the poem. 10 left swipes, 1 right. So deft and full of delight. Your thumb is the queen of swing. One has a puppy, another is tall. Looks like a yuppie, wants it all. Oh, that poor, poor little thing. Then music stopped. It became clear. All that you hoped for is here. Swipe right and I'll be your king. Interesting.
That was the end? Did it end with interesting?
No,
Oh.
I said interesting.
Okay, so that was his poem.
Yeah, I just thought it was cute. He was cute.
Pretty corny, though.
Okay, I'm sorry, Renee. Really?
What?
You're like the queen of writing corny poems.
No, I mean, like, corny to put that as your whole Tinder profile.
Most people have nothing.
Oh, well, okay. I don't know. I'm out of the loop.
You don't know anything.
I know.
So embarrassing.
I know.
Okay.
I feel so bad that I'm not up on Tinder.
You should. So, what?
Nothing.
Okay, she gave me a weird look.
I just don't have my glasses on. I'm like, Bran, I just can't see anything.
gosh. So basically, I've gone on some dates recently.
Yeah. Dish girl.
Hold on, I gotta add something to this.
The first date was the shy guy.
Yeah, so before I discuss the dates, Renee basically knows the dates, most of them. You don't know about Sporty Spice.
No, I haven't heard of that one.
But I came up with nicknames for the guys, but we're not going to try to give any identifying features away because in case they listen or someone knows them, we don't want...
Yeah, since this is like a viral podcast, they probably listen. So.
But anyway, the point is don't talk about where they work because you know like what they do for work, so we're not going to discuss that.
Okay, but they all have such interesting jobs.
I know, but we're just not going to discuss that.
Rocket scientist, astrophysicist, neurosurgeon.
That's also like a rocket scientist.
Yeah. Astronaut.
Okay.
One's a cosmonaut. That's the Russian kinds.
Oh, one's a merchant marine.
Is one?
No. We don't know what that is.
Yeah, tell us about merchant marines. Are they in the Navy or in the Marines? Or just not even in the military
They
at
might
all?
be in the Coast Guard.
Oh, yeah.
Or they might
Coast
just
Guard.
be merchants.
Yeah, maybe they're just like fishermen and they sell fish and they just give themselves a fancy name.
But then I would feel like they would call themselves marine merchants.
Yeah, probably. That would make more sense. All right, anyway, so
we'll
tell us
educate
about
ourselves
your
on
dates.
that. Okay, so shy guy. So I went back on Tinder about a month ago.
And you've been rolling in the D ever since.
That's so gross. Yeah, it was like...
Well, I'm just saying it's been pretty lucrative for you.
Yes, okay. So I met this guy, shy guy, and we hit it... What?
It just makes me think about Shy Guy.
I know,
He's like my favorite Mario Kart character.
I'd love to go on a date with him.
Really?
No. Does he ever take his mask off?
No, and he's also like a robber.
Isn't he like also an alien?
Well, I don't know. He's just like
What's that universe?
Mario.
Is it a different planet?
Yeah, I don't know.
They're all aliens, I guess. Anyway. So, he's shy. And that's why his nickname's Shy Guy. But anyway, he's younger. We talked. We got along really well. He's funny, smart, whatever. We hit it off. We seemed to really like each other. And then we met up, and it was nice and stuff. And then we still talked. And then he was just like, I think you're more into me than I'm into you. And I was like...
And you're like, I'm not.
I was like, okay. I don't know. It's like, I have this problem... I mean, I did like him. I have so many problems, but like, I'm just really bad at dating.
You really
That's
are.
really what it is.
You're really bad at it. And I feel like I've tried to tell you things that like, even you've told me advice, and then when I tell it back to you, you like, don't do it. And I'm like, just do this.
Yeah, but like, some of it is just hard because it's like, I'm not capable of being cool. Like, I'm either like too eager or like super aloof, and I don't have that like medium of just like the perfect amount of interested without being like too interested. I don't know, that's like one of my main problems.
Yeah, you're too eager. I think that's
or too aloof.
Right, but mostly too eager.
Yeah, mostly too eager. But then the other thing is I like to make someone feel good about themselves. So sometimes it's like, I don't know, because then people are like, oh, it's fake, but it's not really fake. It's just like, if you have a good quality, I'm going to keep reminding you about it, I guess, or like accentuate that to make you feel good.
Right, so you engage in a lot of flattery and then it backfires because then they think you're obsessed with them.
Yeah.
So you should stop doing that.
I know.
Maybe you should neg them.
Yeah, so it's like a happy medium I have to find. It's really tough. Yeah. But anyway, so he said that to me, and then that was awkward, and I was like, okay. I was like, well, listen, like, I might just, like, I basically was like, okay, I'll kind of, like, lay off a little bit, like, because he was like, I still want to date you and, like, get to know you, and I was like, okay, then I don't really even understand, like, why you said that. Like, it was really weird.
Yeah, it's really bizarre.
He's like, I just want to be honest, like, I don't want to, like, mislead you or something. He's like, I just want to be upfront, like, whatever. Because I was like, so you don't want to, like, see me anymore? And he's like, no, I do. I want to date you. And I was like, then what? Who cares? Like, there's always going to be one person who's more interested.
Yeah, like, first of all, dummy, it's better to have someone be more into you than you're into them. Like, this is fundamentally true.
Except sometimes it makes them less attractive. So then you're
if they're, like, a needy freak and you don't like them at all, sure. But, like, if you're pretty close, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And, like, you're never going to exactly be as equally into each other. And there's going to be times when it shifts. Like, sometimes he might be more into you, then you might be more into him. And, like, it changes over time.
Yeah. And we're going to come back to this later when we talk about, like, couples and stuff. So, basically...
The next guy?
So, yeah. So then, basically, we plan to have another date. And... I then, like, canceled because I was just stressed about it, and I was like, I don't know, it's just awkward between us now, like, whatever.
You ruined it.
No, so I was like, I just think it's better if we, like, don't get together. Like, it's fine. Like, if we just, like, don't do this thing. And then he was like, oh, don't keep picking up and putting stuff down. So he's like, oh, you don't, he was like, oh, so basically I ruined everything. And I was like, I don't know, like, it's just awkward and, like, whatever. And it was like,
you should have just been like, yes,
whatever. But I mean, like, it's not his fault. Like, I don't blame a person for not being into me. But, like, because the thing is, before he said that, he was, like, being weirder about it. And I was like, you obviously are, like, pulling away. So I'm like, it's fine. But anyway, so then he's like, oh, I still want to see you. And he was, like, fighting about it. Or not fighting, you know, like, trying to convince me. So I was like, fine, we'll get together tonight. But then, like, an hour before we were supposed to get together, he called me. And he was like, I'm actually still really sick feeling. So, like, I don't want to get together. And I was like, really? Okay.
And then that was the end.
No. Still chatted a little bit. And then we got together a couple days later. And then it was, like, really awkward between us. So I was like, okay, Renee, stop. I was like,
sorry.
Okay. Or put them on the couch. I was like, okay, I'm probably going to, like, never see this guy again. But I asked him, I was like, so do you want to see each other again or whatever? And he's like, I don't know. It felt really awkward. I don't think so. Sorry. And I was like, it's fine. Like, just agreed. I was like, yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, what a freak.
That was, like, a week-long thing. It's really weird, like...
I feel you pulling away after 2 days.
No, it was actually probably, like, 2 weeks. The whole thing. But it's, like, we were talking a lot.
No, I know. I get it. Like, people act like you sound crazy when you're like, oh, you didn't text me back for, like, 6 hours. But it's like, if you text me all the time, then that's, like, going to be a long time.
Yeah.
Like, if you only ever text me every 6 hours, then that's, like, what I know you're, like, not always by your phone. But if I know you're always on your phone, 6 hours is a long time. Like, that's a deliberate choice you're making not to text me back.
Or you could just be busy, but it's like, don't act like surprised when you're like, oh, I haven't heard from you.
Yeah, like, you would just be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I fell asleep, or, like, whatever, but...
Yeah.
Don't be like, wow, really? It's been 2 hours. It's like, yeah, but we were in the middle of a conversation and you vanished.
Yeah. Even though I usually don't say stuff like that even. I'll just think it.
Yeah, but you just say stuff, but some girls, like, would text, like, where are you? Or, oh,
yeah,
are you mad at me or something? Like,
I feel like that's kind of needy.
Yeah, it is, but...
Yeah, so anyway. So then we moved on. So then basically, like, a week after I had met Shy Guy, I matched with Nerd Alert, and we, like, started talking, and we hit it off, and we had, like, whatever. We had, like, a similar kind of, like, connection, liked each other, whatever. We went to dinner. It was nice. We went to, and then, like, 2 days later, we went bowling. And then that was nice also. I was like, you can come to trivia. He was like, I don't want to meet your family yet. That's weird. I was like, that's fair. Like, I don't blame you. And then 2 days later, after that, I, like, went over to his house and we, like, hung out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, he broke up with me the next day. Because on that day, he was like...
Broke up with you?
Whatever. That's how I say it. Whatever. But he was like, we were like, okay. I was like, when do you want to get together again? He's like, either tomorrow or the next day. And I was like, well, tomorrow is better for me. And he's like, okay. So we like left planning on seeing each other the next day. And then when I got home, he said something weird. And then, like, the next day, I was like, okay, well, let me know if you want, like, what you want to do later. And he was like, I don't know. It just felt like it wasn't right. And I think we rushed things. And I was like, okay. So then I'm just, we're talking about it. And I was like, I said to him, so you're not interested in spending time with me anymore? And he was like, I'm not. It's like, okay. I said, why? And he said, I don't know. It just didn't feel right. And then we're discussing it a little bit. And he basically was like saying, like, making it seem like he felt guilty. So I was like, so you feel guilty? And he said, yes. But then I'm like, don't you feel more guilty for then, like, dumping me right after? Like, I don't really understand how this makes you feel less guilty.
I don't understand the male mind.
It's so weird. And people are like, so someone said something to me yesterday. And he said that, like, it could be that, like, once you get physical, the guys are like, okay, I either have to, like, really commit or break up with this person. So maybe they just chose break up.
That's why I'm telling you, you got to take it slower.
I feel like that was slow. I mean, yeah, I get that it was, like,
5
less
days?
than a week, but it was, like, 3 dates.
Well, take the date slower. Date multiple people at once. Like, instead of getting so into one person...
I mean, I'm not that into them. Like, I'm not broken up over anybody.
Well, it sounded like Shy Guy thought you were really into him. So to maintain the right level of aloofness, you have to talk to, like, 3 people at the same time. So you just don't have that much you only can give each of them 1/3 of your attention.
Yeah, but I was talking to Shy Guy and Nerd Alert at the same time.
Yeah.
And also Sporty Spice. I was also talking to Sporty Spice at the same time, but then we had, like, an argument. So we stopped talking.
Right.
So anyway, so then...
I'm just trying to help you, Jess.
I know. So then the Nerd Alert thing happened. So then I was like, okay, this is, like, awkward. I was just, like, kind of taken aback because he texted it to me in the middle of the day and I was, like, at work. So I was like, okay, that was unexpected. Like, we'll talk about this later. I don't feel like getting into it right now. So I started texting, like, other people that I had talked to or, like, whatever, matching with new people and stuff. And basically, I connected with Sporty Spice, who I had talked to before. But he basically...
Why is he named Sporty Spice?
Because he likes sports. He's, like, really into sports.
Oh, is he athletic? He just likes to watch sports.
I mean, he plays sports also.
Oh, okay.
So, basically, he had said at one point that... He was just like, we were chatting and we, like, got along or whatever. Well, first of all, I always like to talk on the phone. And he was like, you're obsessed with trying to talk on the phone. And I was like, why are you obsessed with texting? Like, we could be having this conversation. He's like, I wouldn't know what to talk about. I'm like, everything you're texting, you could just say on a phone call. And also, if you don't know what to talk about and it's awkward, then we'll know that, like, we don't have a good connection and we won't want to hang out because we
also
can't
just,
talk
like,
about
you
stuff.
talk a lot on the phone. So you could just be like, listen, you don't even really have to talk. Because when I call people, I sometimes talk for 25 minutes straight.
I do
with
tell
only
them that.
2 breaths. So...
I do say that too. So then, whatever, we ended up talking on the phone for like 10 minutes and it was fine. And then he even said that he was like catfished by someone once and it was weird because she would never talk on the phone with him. And I was like, didn't you just say I was like obsessed with talking on the phone? Whatever, dude. So whatever, we like chat and stuff and then he would just be like, I'm so horny. And I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
You're like, cool.
I was like, okay, I don't really want to hear about that. He's like, oh my gosh, if we're like attracted to each other, we should be able to talk about this stuff. I was like, you don't know me. You're just gonna walk up to some random stranger at a bar and tell them you're horny? I was like, first of all, you're a guy. So maybe this is a little bit presumptuous, but I assume most men are horny most of the time. I don't really need you to like tell me that because I'm gonna assume that you are.
Yeah.
And I was like, also, it's not sexy to me. Like, it's not sexy for someone to be like, I'm horny.
Yeah, no,
Like, I was talking to Renee about the other day. I'm like, saying I'm horny, it has nothing to do with me. It's like, that's just your state. That's just your physical state. Probably based on your extra testosterone or something. But I'm like, if you were saying, like, you were like, oh, you're so sexy, something like that to me, like, I'm like, okay, that has to do with me. But just by saying you're horny, I'm like, okay, I'm not your, like, servant. I'm not responsible for your horniness. I don't really care.
Yeah, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
I know, especially because you haven't even met each other.
Yeah.
It's like, ew.
So then he was like, oh, I've never met a girl who, like, got so mad about it. And I was like, I just think it's crude. I was like, I'm into, like, people who can flirt subtly. I don't really want you to be like, ew.
Yeah, like, my penis is hard. Like, okay, cool. Like, I don't need to know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know you. I never even met you before.
Exactly.
And I hate when people are like, yeah, I think we talked about this on the first one, when they're like, I want to get to know you. And they're like, what do you want to know? And I'm like, I don't know. It's not like one, I don't have like a questionnaire. It's just like, when you talk to someone, you get to know them. And the way you get to know someone is by engaging with them and like seeing their behaviors and seeing how they act around different people and how they act in different situations. Because just like me asking you 15 questions isn't really me getting to know you. That's like me getting to know trivia about you. But, like, that's not really, like, and that's why I like talking on the phone, too, because you get to know someone a lot better on the phone than you do through texting.
Right.
Because,
and when
but yeah, they'll be like, oh, just, what do you want to know? And I'm like, what's your deepest seated fear? Like, what's your worst insecurity and why do you have it? How did your relationship with your mother change the way you view women today? Like, you know, it's like, oh, do you want to answer those questions? Because you probably think I'm a freak.
But even if you do, it's like that, it's still a curated answer. It's still not necessarily getting to know the person.
I know.
Although like, by them saying, what do you want to know, that tells you enough about them to know that you don't want to be with them.
Ugh, that's so true.
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
This week's podcast is brought to you by the Beefy Boys. Just three cool dudes hanging out, talking about sports, video games, music, and whatever else they feel like. Find them at their website, www.beefyboys.com. Also, where you find your other podcasts, iTunes, Podbean, YouTube, you know, all the regulars. The Beefy Boys, the best show on planet Earth.
Okay, we're back.
Sorry, I wasn't ready. I was in the middle of a question.
Renee was still on our commercial break chatting.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm moving around on the couch again. So basically, you were just talking about people who, when you say you want to get to know them, they're like, what do you want to know about me? Well, right. And then that is, like, to me, an indication, like, well, now I know you're not a person. Like, that would immediately turn me off to be like, I don't really want to know you any longer. I know enough now. But it's the same thing for me, like, when I want to talk on the phone with someone and they're, like, so against it, I'm like, okay, well, good luck. And they're like, wow, psycho. And I'm like, no, I just know that I want to be with someone who's not afraid to give me their phone number and talk on the phone. Like, I was like, to me, that's, like, a clear indication that we're obviously not meant to be. And, like, maybe you think that's crazy, but I'm crazy.
Right.
So it's just interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move on to, like, just a little bit more stuff about, stop that. It's loud. Dating etiquette.
Sorry.
She's loudly yawning on our own podcast.
I'm just tired.
Oh, my God. What time did you even go to bed?
I don't know, like
8:30?
No. Like 10:30.
Oh, my gosh.
Probably.
Okay.
And I woke up at like 8.
Can you scroll down?
No. I don't know how to use this computer.
2 fingers and swipe up.
I don't even know where the cursor is. Here? Mm. Is this good?
It's fine, yeah.
I can't see it, Jess. I don't know what it says.
Oh my gosh, you're like super blind.
Yeah, I'm not wearing my eyeballs right now.
That's crazy.
I'll tell you when I can read these. Now. They're still blurry.
Oh my gosh, you have really bad vision.
Yeah, I know. It's a disability. Like, it's not my fault.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. I didn't know your vision was so bad. Now I know.
Because I wear my contacts.
The more I know. Were you wearing your contacts at the beach?
No.
Oh.
That's why when you're like, look at that guy at the beach, I'm like, I cannot see that. This just looks like a blob of flesh.
Yeah, because there was this like super hot like surfer guy.
I was wearing my contacts. Oh.
Yeah, and he had like, well, I don't know if he came out of the water, but he had like long hair too.
Oh, no, yeah, I didn't.
And he had like washboard abs, and I was like, okay, that's like the epitome of like hot beach dude.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Sorry. Anyway, so what's the next topic that I can't read?
So we're going to talk about like dating etiquette. We've talked about this before. But one thing I think, I don't know if we talked about it or not, but is like persistence and how...
I think we did talk about it.
Yeah. So like, and then also like I want to talk about like making and canceling dates. So like...
Because you are a flake?
No, I'm not usually a flake, but I was flaky with this one guy. Like, I started talking to him like a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, I'm real busy. Because I was. And I was like, I could hang out at some point, like whatever. So we made a date. But then like, I think the date was for last Monday. It was like lunch. But I was like...
You have such weird dates.
Why?
A Monday lunch? Don't these people have jobs?
No, he's like... I don't know. He's like doing something. I think he's doing something. And he's like studying to take a test. Like he's like a CPA test or something else. He's like... Something like that. I don't know.
He studies to take a test, so he can't have a job.
He's like, he has a job, but right now he's in training or something, so he had some time.
Oh, okay.
I think he did real estate or something, so he's like, I have some time during the day or whatever.
Okay, well that makes sense. That's
and I was
flexible.
like, I could more meet during the day.
Right.
I have free time during the day, more so than in the evenings. So...
It's not even true, really.
Yes, it is.
You're like free after 7 most nights.
I usually have plans most nights.
With your friends?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like a lot of times
make
it's like,
plans with a
we'll
guy.
do this on Monday night. I do trivia on Tuesday nights. Like I'll go to the movies on Wednesday nights. I already had a date on Thursday night. I don't know. Like I have stuff I do.
Interesting.
So
popular.
I'm a popular lady. So anyway, I canceled the date because I was like, I just don't want to go. And I was like, I'm not feeling great, whatever. Had a headache or something. I was like, let's reschedule. He was like, okay, blah, blah, blah. But he's like sweet about it. He's like, you want me to bring you soup? I was like, no. I was like, I just don't want to see you. And it was weird. Like we chatted on the phone for like 30 minutes. It was Eileen's birthday because I was telling him about how I make really good fruit salad.
Right.
Different guy. I told a lot of people about my fruit salad. But anyway.
It's basically her best feature.
It's my signature.
Best quality.
So then he basically like, whatever. So actually when we first started talking, I said either Monday or Thursday. And he chose Monday because he said that I would forget if it was Thursday. And I was like, oh, you're going to forget about it if we do it for Thursday? He said, no, you'll forget about it. But I actually forgot that I was supposed to meet him on Monday. And then he, like, texted me on Sunday. Because we talked on the phone and then he never texted me or anything.
Well, he probably was, like, playing by the rules or whatever.
I guess. But that's, like, too aback or too aloof. Because I was like, I forgot about him, to be honest.
Okay, so then you canceled Monday. Then you rescheduled for...
Today, and then I canceled. And I was like,
You should just go today.
No.
He could be really nice.
I'm too tired.
I do squeak. That's weird.
I don't know. I'm just tired, and I don't feel like it. And I'm really hot
you're going
now.
for lunch? Like...
But it's like we were going in, like, Chatham because he lives, like, in Rockaway. So he doesn't really live that close. And, like, I'm just like, do I feel like... I was just like, I don't really feel like it. Like... We don't have a good chemistry. Like, it was kind of like okay, I'll go out because I try to give everyone a chance, but, like, we don't have good chemistry. And so I'm just like, if I was interested, I would want to go out with you, but it's like, I'm really not that interested. I was going to do it, but now I'm just kind of like, I don't. And I apologized. Like, I was like, I'm really sorry, but, like, and then he was just really persistent, and I was like, he's like, do you think it's never going to happen? And I was like, not anytime soon. Like, I was like, I just have, like, stuff going on, and I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's, like, pushing it along, and I was like, I just don't think so. And he's like, okay, fine. Whatever. I feel bad, but, like, I mean, it would also be, like, a waste of his time, I feel like, because I'm pretty much not interested. Yeah. But then again, who knows? I guess we could go out, and I could then be like, I'm so interested.
I guess you should just not agree to dates in the first place if you're not interested in seeing the person.
Yeah.
Or getting free food.
I was, like, interested. Well, I don't even know if it was going to be free food. Because I always tell people now, like, like, we can pay for ourselves. So it might have been me just buying myself a slice of pizza.
True.
Anyway. So, then we also did talk about this couples spending Oh, no, this is a different... Okay, sorry. And the last thing we did talk about before, and it kind of goes along with Sporty Spice, is the, like, promising of sexual activities.
Yeah, and I hate that. It's like some guys will make it like a condition of seeing you. They'll be like, well, what are we going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. Aren't we going to dinner? Like, what are we going to do? And I'm like, ew, I'm not like agreeing. I'm like, what do you want me to say? Yeah, we're definitely going to like do this specific things. And then I meet you and I hate you. And then you think I still have to do it with you? Like, no.
Yeah, that's what... This is what I always say.
This is not a qualifier
and it's
for
why
me.
people are like, whoa. Because I like to always use, like, really extreme metaphors. That's my nature.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's not weird. It makes my point. So people say that, and then I'll say the same thing. I'll be like, so what if I agree to do this? And then we meet, and I decide I don't want to do it. Does that give you license to rape me? Like, I was like, and they're like, no. And I'm like, then why would I agree now? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, like, why do I have to...
What's the point? Unless it's going to mean that you're going to feel like you own me, and I owe you something. I was like, I owe you nothing.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, who do you think you are? Like,
yeah.
If you want to meet me, it's because you want to meet me, not because I'm promising you something. Like, you don't deserve that just for seeing me. So like,
oh, wait. So I want to tell you, when I went out with Sporty Spice, we went out and, like, we went to a bar, and he had, like, a couple beers, like 2 beers, and I just drank, like, a Diet Coke or something, so I was drinking. And then these ladies sat next to us, and... At one point, he was saying something about how, like, it's nice sometimes when both people on the date are drinking. Or sometimes, he kind of was like, sometimes girls are more comfortable, like, doing stuff if they're drunk. And I was like, that sounds really date rapey. And he was like, no, I think he just meant, like, you both, like, loosen up or whatever.
Yeah, I just meant, like, you have lower inhibitions. Like,
then he said something, like, about how girls, like, he was saying, like, have you ever heard of a guy saying, like, girls will look better and better after more drinks? Well, it's the same for girls. And I was like, okay, but don't you want to be with someone who likes you when they're sober?
Yeah.
And then the lady that was sitting, like, on the other side of him was like, mm-hmm. And I was like, I would think so. Like, why do you want to go out with someone who only likes you because you look good when they're drunk? I was like, that's weird. But he's like, that's not what I mean. I'm like, okay.
I think maybe he just means, like, you have an increased libido when you're, like, drinking,
and also,
maybe.
you do feel more comfortable. I was like,
yeah.
For me, I don't usually feel super uncomfortable, but obviously you're going to loosen up if your inhibitions are going down. So I was like, I get what you're saying, but it was like the way you're saying it, I was like, it just sounds bad.
Yeah, like, you need to think about what you're saying right now.
And then actually the lady said that she needs to go on Tinder dates.
The lady at the restaurant?
And they were older. But she was like, I need to go on Tinder dates. Even if I'm not into the guy, I just need to go on some dates. And I thought, interesting.
So at the last episode, like on our Dating in the Digital Age episode, we talked about you signing up for like a paid site. Have you thought about it?
No, I'll wait maybe in like a year and a half I'll do that.
So like 33 and a half is the age?
Yeah, that's a great age.
Okay.
It's a great age for Match.com or whatever other sites there are.
Not Match. They rejected you.
No, that was
that was
eHarmony.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing it up. Got any tissues?
Oh, man.
But yeah, so then the other thing I wanted to just mention really fast was, I guess, just about making dates. Like, I know this is a tip I gave you with Tim about, like, making a specific date.
Yeah, and then you never follow it.
No, that's why I try to make dates now. Mm-hmm. And I always try to make another date, like, when I'm with someone.
But you shouldn't make it for, like, the next day. You should do it for, like, 3 or 4 days out. That'll probably help you maintain your aloofness.
Whatever. Anyway. So
that's how I hooked Tim. If you're listening, Tim, you were manipulated by me.
By me, actually.
No, you, like, read that somewhere. It's not like you thought of that on your own.
So you heard it from me.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, I could have easily read that article, so it's not like you came up with it. It's just, like, so whoever wrote that article of dating tips, you snagged my husband. Congratulations.
Yeah, I gave you that.
So basically, it was like, when you go on a date, already know in your mind what you want them to ask, what you want to ask them to do for the next date and when it is. So, like, when Tim and I had our first date, I knew, okay, if it goes well, I'm going to ask him if he wants to, like, come see this school play at my school next Thursday. So then I did, and he said yes. So then we went, and that was our second date. And then, the rest is history.
It was also like saying that not just about booking it ahead of time. It was like ask them to do something specific.
Right.
So it was like instead of saying like when do you want to hang out again? Yeah, you say like let's get dinner on Thursday, or let's go see a movie on Thursday, or whatever.
Or like let's see this movie at this time.
Right.
Or I'm going to see this band. Do you want to come with me? You know, so it's like something that they're either like yes or no. Because then if you're like ask them, then usually they'll be like yeah if they want to see you again. But if they're like, oh, I don't think so, then you know, like, okay. Because then if you just like, you want to like spend time again together again, and they're like, yeah, and then they just like never decide when, and like,
yeah, or it's so vague and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's tricky. And then, but for me, it's like I kind of tell people too, because they're like, oh, you're so busy, and it's like mostly because I plan a lot of things.
Right.
So yes, I could do something with the guy instead of my friends, but typically I'm not going to go on a first date instead of hang out with my friends, because my friends are a guarantee.
Right.
And the first date could be really bad. So I'm like...
Yeah, so it's like, I hate when people say, oh, you're so busy, we can never see each other. I'm like, I'm busy because I make plans, so if you want to see me, make plans now.
Yeah, that's
and then
what I
in
say to
5 days
people.
I can see you. Like,
I'm like, we have to make plans because I pretty much plan my life, so I was like, I don't like to have a lot of downtime. I like to know what I'm doing, and I like to do stuff. So then that's like why I make plans. But anyway, so now we're just going to talk about some stuff that couples do. So first I want to talk about, actually it's a little out of order, is the spending time together. I know we talked about this before, like what constitutes like quality time spent together.
right.
But I just think it's like interesting that some people, and I guess like based on the conversations I've had with different people, that like the typical consensus is as long as you're together, it counts as quality time.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way?
Pretty much. I mean,
so like if
it's kind of just
Tim
like
were
being in
sitting
each
here,
other's
like, on
presence.
his computer, and you were like over there watching TV.
I mean, if we were like near each other, like if we were both sitting on the couch, yes. Like if we were like, because usually like I'll put my feet on him or something, like we're touching, so we're like, you know, just like the physical contact is like a bonding thing. But if like I'm watching TV in my bedroom and he's watching TV in the living room, no, not really. I think we have to be in close
What if you're sitting
physical
on
proximity.
that couch?
If we're like engaging in a similar behavior, yes.
What if he was like sleeping, or what if he was like on his, like watching a video on his computer with his headphones in, and you were watching something on TV?
If we weren't touching, I'd say probably not.
Okay, interesting.
I mean,
it's interesting how people gauge it.
Yeah,
So-
because I don't know, like if we're like totally separately engaged, I would be like probably not. But like if he's like watching something on his computer and I'm sitting here just like doing something on my phone, but I still like can see what's going on with him, and I'm like listening in on his video too, then like I would say yes, because we're like doing something together.
Yeah.
But when we're completely insulated from each other, then like no, because we're not really together.
Yeah, so then it kind of leads into like two thoughts I've had, like, or I've always had, I guess, but like a lot of our friends, and you guys do this too, I think. I mean, a lot of people do this, is like they always want to like do their errands together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like errands are like a quality time thing, which like I get it. Like, yes, it's nice.
It's not always so much
it's
like
nice
a
to do
quality time
errands with
thing, but
someone.
it's also just like a convenience thing. Like a lot of times we like to grocery shop together, but it's like because we might want to buy different things, and I don't want to like remember every single thing he wants, and like vice versa.
But then why can't you make a grocery list? Like,
well,
our
we
whole
do,
lives
but like
we've
sometimes you
made
make.
grocery lists.
We always make a list, but like sometimes you want like, you're like, oh, maybe I want some like granola bars, but you don't know like exactly what kind you want. You know, you want to go to like, I personally prefer grocery shopping because I like to see everything, and like I make a list, but sometimes my list includes like salty snacks, and then I get to decide which ones I want. Like, so, and he's pretty good at like knowing which things I like, and I know pretty much what he likes, but it's just like, I like to do it. I like to grocery shop for myself.
Yeah, it's interesting because I just think
But we
like,
don't always do.
Some couples, yeah, like they mostly like only have the weekends to do their errands. So it's like, I get it. Like you want to do your errands or your chores on the weekends and you do them at the same time, yeah. But then there's sometimes where people have free time. Like, to me, if someone, like if you weren't working at the college and you had time in the afternoons, like it would, in my mind, make sense that you would like do some of those errands like during the week so that you could have the weekends when you're together to do other fun stuff. Like, to me, it's weird,
Right.
like when there's couples who are like, save the errands for when we're together. So like, if they have other time and they're not doing, like, chores when they have their own free time.
I wouldn't necessarily save errands to do together, but, like, unless it's, like, grocery shopping and we know we want to both go. But, like, other stuff like laundry, like, if I'm home during the week, I'll just do laundry. And, like, dishes we do every day. So, like...
Yeah, I don't know.
Cleaning, I feel like the only reason you want to do it together is because, like, otherwise, who wants to be the only one cleaning? Like, obviously, Tim does more cleaning,
Would you
but, like...
ever, like, just break up the chores?
I don't know. Maybe.
That's what I would do.
But I just feel like if you're home for an equal amount of time, yes. But if you're not, like, it's not really fair to, like, say... And it's also, it's just, I probably
I think
wouldn't.
it
Because, like,
depends.
usually, sometimes it might be like, oh, he's supposed to do the dishes. But, like, if I come home one day and he's, like, not feeling well or he's really tired and I feel like I have more energy and I just do the dishes, like, I don't know. I don't really feel like you should have to break it up. Because then someone's, like, always responsible. It should just be, like, if you're able to do it, you should do it. You both want to help out. I don't know.
It's a slippery slope. But yeah, so anyway, that's interesting. And then it also makes me think of our mom and our stepdad, because basically, like, our parents have a rental property at the beach. So it's really small. It's like 3 apartments in the property, and they have one that they keep for themselves. And it's like a small 2-bedroom, like, I don't know, 800 square feet or something. It's pretty small. Probably even smaller than that, because this is what, like 1,000?
It's like 980 or something.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe. But anyway, it's pretty small, but it's like 2 blocks from the beach, so it's really like a good location for going down the beach and stuff. So my stepdad, like this weekend, my mom went from like Thursday night until Monday, and my stepdad was there, I think, same time, or he came Friday, I don't know. But he never, ever goes on the beach, ever. So, like, my mom and I were on the beach, and then Renee and Tim and Finn came down. And I think Renee was like, does he ever come on the beach? And our mom said no. And we're like, why does he even come down here? And then Renee, and I'm like, yeah, because a lot of times, like, my mom and I were on the beach from, like, 9, like, we left the house around, like, 10 probably, because they went to church, and then we went to breakfast. So we left the house around 10-ish, but we didn't get back to the house until, like, 5:30 or something.
Yeah. Most of the day.
I'm like, we were gone basically the entire day, and then we went out to dinner and on the boardwalk, and then Mark, like, met us at, like, 9 o'clock or something. Like, met up with her at 9 o'clock. So it was like, he didn't even really spend time with her. I mean, now, the 2 days that we weren't down there, he did.
Right.
But a lot of times, all of us will go down there, and she'll be away from him, like, for the majority of the day. She's like, he likes to walk, but he also walks at home. I don't know. It's weird to me. Then it leads into the next point, too, of, like, when couples are more into each other, because then Renee was like, he's obsessed with you. He's like, she's really obsessed with my mom.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, good for her. But I'm just like, I would feel kind of bad. Like, if, I don't know, I'm kind of like, I am much of the belief that you don't have to like everything your partner likes. And, like, you don't have to, like, if I'm doing something that Tim really doesn't like, I would just prefer he not come, because I'm like, I feel guilty if you're, like, clearly not enjoying yourself, and, like, it would be better for me if you just stay home and do something you like to do, and then, like, I can do this thing that I enjoy doing. And he's, like, learned, like, when we took Finn to, like, strawberry picking, I'm like, Tim does not like going strawberry picking, but Finn and I liked it, so we, like, went together. So I'm like, okay, this is, like, better, because we can have this fun experience together, and then he can just, like, be home relaxing, and then when we get home, like, we can all spend time together. And so it's, like, obviously there's, like, a fine line. Like, you have to see how much time you want to spend together versus how much you want to do the things you want to do.
Why does he hate strawberry picking?
Well, he just says it's hot, you know, it's like manual labor. It's not good for his back. It probably hurts, like, bending down and up, you know?
Yeah.
So.
It's fun, though.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, yeah. But I'm like, whatever. Like, if it's not your thing, I mean, like, just really don't low come. Down to the ground, like, so. If you don't like it, then that's fine. But, like,
it smells so good out in those strawberry fields.
It really does. It smells like literally like strawberry jelly or something. You're like, oh, so fresh.
So, yeah, I mean.
But that's how I feel. So, like, if that were my husband and he would, like, always come down to the beach with me and not come on the beach, I'd be like, every time I'm on the beach, then I would be like, oh my God, I feel so guilty. He's just, like, at home waiting for me. Like, you know, like, I'd be like, I wish he was, like, doing something else. But I mean, I guess he does things around that he enjoys while he's at the beach house. I don't know.
Yeah, true. And I think, like, when we lived at home, he also liked it because it was, like, more of, like, a sanctuary for him because it was a lot cleaner, a lot more minimalist. But now we don't live at home, and their house is pretty much like that now, too. So it's, like...
True.
Now now that they have their own, like, they don't have any more kids in the house, I'm kind of, like, I don't really see... Like, I kind of understood when he was, like, getting away from, like, the chaos of, like, having a house with, like, a bunch of kids, and there was, like... it was like 3 adult children, young adults, yeah. But like, you know, they were messy, so there was like a lot more stuff around. But I don't know. Anyway, so have you ever been in a relationship where you're more invested? Well, yeah, I guess.
Of course.
But not really right now.
I would say we're equally.
You and I?
Oh, no, I meant Tim and I are pretty equally invested in each other. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I've definitely been in relationships where I've been like more into the person than they're into me. It doesn't usually end well.
For you.
Right.
It always ends well for them. They always end up like meeting someone and getting married and having kids right after they break up with you.
Well, actually, the people that's happened to, I broke up with, so.
You broke up with Chris?
Mm-hmm.
But didn't he like cheat on you or something? He was like with someone else. Well, it was weird.
Not overtly.
Like,
I mean, it might have been. Yeah, he was really bizarre. He, like, at first, we were, like, dating, and I was, like, basically under the mindset that we were, like, boyfriend-girlfriend, because we would, like, spend a lot of time together. But then he was like, I'm not your boyfriend. And I was like, okay, fine. So then I was, like, dating other people, and he was like, why are you dating other people? And I'm like, I thought you were my boyfriend. Like, you're so confusing. So then I was like, okay, I guess he's my boyfriend now. But then he was just, like, get really jealous, and I was like, okay, I don't want to date you anymore. So then we broke up.
It was funny.
And then he got married and had a kid.
Yeah. Who else? Oh, the other guy, yeah, you weren't into because we wouldn't say.
We, like, dated a little, but then he, like, had a fight with you, and then it got annoying, and then...
Plus, you also weren't into him because of how he looked.
Well, yeah, he gained, like, weight after high school. So, we were, like, dating... I mean, I wasn't, like, super not into him, but I was like, oh, yeah, he definitely got a little pudgy, but, like... Not enough to be like, I won't date you because of that, because like whatever,
that guy
people's weights
dated
change.
Who was like, I'd break up with my wife if she gained 15 pounds.
Well, he said 15 kilos,
oh.
Which is actually a lot more, but yeah, I'm like, well, he was like, he didn't say he'd break up with his wife. He like said he would break up with a girl if she like gained 10 kilos. And I was like, okay, but what if we were like married and I like had your kid and then like I gained weight? He's like, well, that might be different. And I'm like, that better be different. Like, when you meet someone, I don't think you're contractually obligated to maintain the same body shape.
Unless you have that contract, I guess.
Yeah, but also, like, I mean, whatever. I would be like, okay, that's fine if you agree to, like, get me a personal trainer and, like, you know, make sure I don't have to work and, like, all these other things that I can make. If all you want me to do is maintain a body, then that's what I can do. But if I also have to have a job and, like, other things, then no.
True. All right, cool. So that pretty much wraps up the main topic.
Wait, have you ever been in a relationship where someone's been more invested in you than you are in them?
Wow, thanks. Yes, I'm in several.
Yeah?
I'm a lot of people's best friends.
I meant sexual relationships.
Yeah.
Oh.
Of course.
And?
I mean, it doesn't work out. Why would I want to be with someone who I'm not into?
So would you rather be the one
remember
more
the
into
guy
them or
who drove
less?
his car into a lake?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to marry me. I don't think he was kidding.
And when you said no, he drove his car into a lake?
No.
But it was only 2 feet deep.
No,
so he was like, my plan is spoiled.
Basically, there were things we didn't agree on. This was like pre-2016 election regardless. But like, he was very like, he like had issues. He was like anti like gay people. And I was like, but he's like, I don't care. Whatever. He just had like really backwards views on that. And we were talking about it. And he's like, I like how you're not being super judgmental. And I was like, whatever. It doesn't really affect me if you're, like, bigoted. Like, I don't really think you're right, but we're not going to get married. You're not going to, like, have my children. And he was, I'm not going to have your children. And he was like, then, like, later, he was like, well, why shouldn't we get married? Like, we'd be really good together and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, we wouldn't because you're, like, homophobic.
Yeah.
People were like, well, why should that affect our relationship?
Like, if we had a kid and they
obviously
were gay.
different values.
Yeah, I was like, it's just, like, fundamentally different values. So, but there's been other people, but I mean, you probably don't hear about them because I'm not into them.
Yeah.
I mean, like, when it's, like, a slight difference.
Like, would you rather be more into someone or less into them?
I would honestly rather be more into them, to be honest, because...
Probably for you, because you get, like, bored otherwise. Or
Yeah.
you have high standards, so then you'd be like...
I'm super easily bored, so... If someone were more into me... I mean, as long as I was into them, it'd be fine if they were more into me. But it's like you're saying, like, you guys are... no one's equal.
I sort of think we're pretty equal.
Okay. But I mean, like, if that's the case where you're, like, you both feel invested, it's, like, whatever. It's fine if one person is, like, slightly more. But usually for me, it's, like... And if that's the case, I probably wouldn't even notice. I wouldn't really be able to tell. But, like, in the case where it's happened with me, it's usually been, like, I'm not very interested, and they're, like, really interested. And I'm like, that's nice. Why can't the people I'm interested in be interested in me?
I know. If only the world worked like that.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to move on to what's popping at the movies. Ugh, okay. I was queuing you up.
We don't have to always pop every time.
You look like a sad brontosaurus. You were like, you looked over like...
Because I don't like how you feel like I have to make sound effects. That's not part of this. If you want to make popping sound effects, just make them yourself.
Okay. Anyway.
I didn't even go to a movie this week.
First, we're going to read some fan mail that we got. So anyway, we got an email from this email address called Deerfoot Sisters Fan Club. And it says, what's popping at the movies? Can Jess please give us a thorough explanation of her movie rating system? Is 1 thumb up better than 2 thumbs sideways?
It's like, obviously.
Yes. I know. I thought it was really obvious too.
But we'll explain in case it was confusing.
So basically the way that the rating system works with our thumbs is that the thumbs start in a neutral position facing each other.
Right.
That's meh thumbs.
Yeah.
And then
that's neutral.
As they move up, it's good, and as they move down, it's bad.
So half a thumb up is like, well, 2 thumbs up is the max it could be. So 1 thumb up is half the max, and half a thumb up is a quarter of the max it could be.
So...
And same thing with thumbs down.
Renee and I got this email, and I just laughed, and I'm like, okay, this is probably my brother sending this email. And then Renee's like, I thought it was our mom. So
you said to me, did you see the email? And I was like, oh, it's probably from Mom or something. And you're like, I thought from Joe. And I was like, oh, maybe.
So I asked Joe about it, and he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I said something about it, and he was like, oh, how did you know that's what we talked about in our podcast this week? And I was like, okay, so it was either you or one of your friends. Because I was like, even when he was saying, I was like, you're a horrible liar. Like, I know you sent the email. So then yesterday... So then I explained the rating system to him. And I also said to him, and this is probably why no one else ever asked us about it because it's kind of obvious. When we talk about the movies, I feel like the way we describe the thumbs is kind of obvious. Because we'll be like, meh thumbs. Why would you say meh thumbs if it's like, okay? And then you're like, it was kind of good, 1 thumb up. So it's kind of obvious the way we describe it, but whatever.
I think he just wanted to send us an email. So thanks, Joe.
He's so cute. But anyway, so...
so cute.
No, it was funny because yesterday... He called us. He was bored. And then I called him back, and he's like, well, I'm not bored anymore. It's like, all right, thanks for using me. But anyway, so then he said that it was him that sent the email. And I was like, oh. And he goes, tricked ya.
You're like, except you didn't.
You didn't trick me because I knew it was you. And then he said, did you read it on the air? And I said, well, we're going to record tomorrow. And he was like, what? Oh, well, maybe it wasn't me who sent it. And I'm like, sorry, you ruined it.
Cat's out of the bag. We know it was you.
But yeah, it was nice because we finally got an email, our first listener email.
Yes, and I'm sorry that we were mean about it. So if you have another listener email, send it and we won't be so mean.
No promises.
We'll be nice about it.
You might like people to be mean to you, so if you do, then...
say that in the subject line so we know.
Yeah, but anyway. Also, if you were to say who you were, we might be less mean. No,
True.
You can send it anonymously if you really want to.
Yeah.
It was just silly. We just like to tease him because he's such a nerd. But he's good. He's good-hearted, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yesterday I saw actually Booksmart with my friends. And the title of it, the tagline is Getting Straight A's, Giving 0 F's. I thought that was like a super cute tagline.
Yeah.
Renee's kind of like, it's not right. But I don't know. It seems like the kind of thing you would come up with.
It's
very
cute.
Creative.
I know there's a song kind of like that.
So it's about two girls who, they're kind of like the typical smart girls in high school. They do everything right. The one is valedictorian. They like, it doesn't really say actually where the one girl's going. Oh, she's going to Columbia. So like the girl's going to Yale. The one's going to Columbia. The valedictorian's also like the student council president. Just very like straight-laced. Got really good grades. Did extracurriculars. Got into college. And then basically she's like super, she's kind of like super snobby about it and like looks down on a lot of her classmates. And then
she's like beyond the high school experience.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, you guys are going to be like, I'll be off at Yale next year and you guys will be like sitting around here doing nothing. And then the one girl was like, I'm going to Yale too. Mm-hmm. And then so basically I guess part of the whole thing was that the senior class had made this like referendum or whatever, like made this decision basically to not discuss where they were going to college. So it was something that like the class decided to do as like a project to like not make people feel bad about it or something.
Okay.
So that was why they basically had that set up so that she could like on the last day of school realize that like all the kids that she thought we're not going anywhere. We're going to these, like, Ivy League schools. And, like, the one guy was like, I'm not going to college. I got recruited to code for Google or something like that. Like,
yeah.
Just, like, stuff like that. Like, so then she's like, my world is falling apart. So she says to her friend, like, we have to go to a party tonight. Like, tonight, because they were graduating the next day. She's like, tonight is our last night to, like, have gotten straight A's and done all this stuff and also partied in high school, and we have to do it because she wants to like prove, because basically she's in the bathroom and she hears these people like trash talking her,
right?
And then she's like, whatever. But then when she finds out that they're going to school too, she's like, oh my god, like I didn't have to like not have like a full life where I was like doing fun stuff as a teenager. I could have done that and gotten good grades and gotten into a good college, you know?
Right.
So then they, like, go through this kind of, like, misadventures. And it's actually really funny. It's a good movie.
Okay.
It was directed by Olivia Wilde. Mm-hmm. And it starred, I don't know how to say her name, Caitlin Dever. She's like, she also plays Loretta from Justified. You know, the girl, I think it's, like, Mags. She has, like, that drunk dad, and then she, like, Mags kind of, like, watches over her. And she, like, develops a relationship with Raylan. And then she goes into foster care.
Okay.
How many seasons have you watched?
Of Justified? Not that much.
Oh,
like
okay.
The first season or something.
Oh, I thought you watched, like, 4 seasons.
No, I had to watch it.
Okay, well, Justified is my favorite show. It's really good. You should watch it. I think there were, like, 6 seasons or something. But it's really, really good. Anyway. And then Beanie Feldstein plays Molly. And Jason Sudeikis is in it, too. He plays the principal. And then he also has, like, a little part. He's, like, an Uber driver or something. And he's, like, engaged to Olivia Wilde. I thought they were married, but I think they've just been engaged for, like, a few years. And they have, like, 2 kids.
Okay.
So, that's kind of cute.
In real life, not in the movie.
Yeah. Olivia Wilde didn't write it. It was written by, like, a few women. But, like, I'm sorry, I didn't look up who they were. I looked it up, but I didn't write it down. But it was, like, her directorial debut, I think.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was good. It was funny. I would say go see it. I don't know, 1.5 thumbs up.
Nice.
It was honestly, like, very funny, well done, and it didn't, like, drag on or anything.
Good.
Only because I had, like, 3 sodas, so then I had to pee really badly, so I did leave with, like, 1 minute to spare, because I was like, I cannot wait any longer.
Oh, you didn't even see the last minute of the movie?
No. I just couldn't. I was like, I'm going to pee in my pants. Like, I cannot
Why
wait.
would you, like, not just go in the middle like a normal person?
because I was like, oh, I can make it. And then it was like, what is that called? Like, whatever, the falling action. It just kept falling and falling. I was like, can you just fall already? Like,
The
I need to
denouement?
pee. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought the denouement was the...
The rising action? No, that's like the exposition, isn't it?
Yeah, I wanted to say denouement, but I didn't want to sound stupid.
I think it's the denouement, but I'm not sure.
We'll find out. We already sounded dumb with the Merchant Marines thing. I'm sure our mom will tell us what it means.
Yeah.
So, all right. Any final thoughts other than you're really tired? I don't know how you're going to drive up later.
No thoughts. Not that tired. Just, I don't know. I don't have my glasses in, so it's like...
Why do,
What's the
where
point of
are your
having my
glasses?
eyes open
First of
if I
all,
can't
where
even
do you
see
put your
anything?
glasses? I don't know what you mean by having your glasses in. Sounds gross.
I mean my contacts. I don't know where my glasses are. They've been missing for 2 weeks. So I've been wearing my contacts. But they're not in right now. So it's like, why keep my eyes open if I can't see anything anyway? May as well just close them.
Why didn't you just put your contacts in?
Because I didn't even brush my teeth yet. I haven't done my morning ritual.
All right.
Yeah, it's like 5 in the morning when we're recording this, so we're really tired.
It's like 11 o'clock right now.
Don't tell them!
Okay. You can plug the socials.
Okay. Well, I mean,
You don't know them?
okay, you can check us out on our website, which is dearfootsisters.com. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/dearfeetpodcast. And check us out on Instagram and Twitter at dearfootsisters. And you can email us at dearfootsisters@gmail.com. And again, if you email us, we'll be nice, read it on the air. We love to get emails from actual people instead of just like the robots. Anything else you wanted to state, Jess?
If you know any eligible bachelors, tell them to email us.
Right.
Hey.
Okay. We're the Dearfoot Sisters, and we're
Prancing
prancing
away.
away.